So, we've all heard the famous buzzwords that mindset is everything, and I promise you, this one is not a myth. And so, in this video, I'm going to help you understand what a mind shift even is, why self awareness is so important, why you must take action. Conscious action is something that I like to call it. And then, lastly, how to stay consistent, because once you make that shift, you want to make sure that you maintain it so that it becomes second nature and so that it becomes part of who you are and not just something that you check off of a list on a daily basis. You want this mindset shift to be something permanent and something that you now identify with. And so I'm going to give you the tools on how to do that. Step one is defining what a mindset shift even is. What does that look like for you and for others? What it looks like is taking ownership of your thoughts, your beliefs, and your habits. Because essentially, what a lot of people do is they go through life thinking that they have no control. And in psychology, this is called the locus of control. A lot of people believe that their external circumstances make them who they are versus internal circumstances, things that they can control, things that they can change, shaping their reality. And so, first and foremost, for the mindset shift, you have to understand that you have complete control over your life. Every decision you make, every thought you have, every belief you have is because you're chosen to have it. And so once you realize that, you can now make the efforts and the steps to shift it to a reality that you want to obtain. And so this is what a mindset shift is. It's essentially recognizing where your thoughts stand and where your beliefs are today and where they come from. This is going to be in the next step, but you want to know all of this about yourself so that you now have the ability and the willpower to take control and to change that, which is where the shift happens. So one of the things I want you to do in this step is to, first of all, forget everything you were told by your parents, by your family, by your friends, by your partners, by your bosses, your coworkers, etc. Forget everything, because what's happening is that people don't realize that a lot of the times those things are what programs us into solidifying these false beliefs or these false narratives that aren't ours to have. And so you want to think about all the things that others have told you and that you have now taken on as a part of your reality. Do you actually believe in all of these things? Do you feel as though this is a part of who you are? Or do you feel as though these things that people have told you, you've just accepted it because you didn't have your own beliefs to hold on to, or you didn't have something to say, wait, hold on a second, that's not right, or I don't believe in that, or I don't agree with you. We want to first identify and become aware of those habits and those patterns that we tend to go through when we feel as though we don't have control. And so going back to the false narratives, we sometimes hold on to these narratives and they keep us stuck in current situations that we're in that we may not want to be in. So a prime example of this is, and I talk about this in previous videos, one of the biggest things that a lot of people want to change is their career or their income. And one of the first things that you have to shift in your mindset is that we have always been told you need to have certain credentials, you need to go to school for X, Y, and Z, you need to have this amount of experience. But through my own personal experience, what I've realized is that if you really, really, truly wanted something, you would find any way to go after it. And yes, there are some jobs, using this example, that do require specific credentials and specific training and certificates and those sort of things. But I'm talking in a general sense. Let's, take marketing, for example. These are the types of things that there are other ways, and you can't just accept no as an answer. One thing that you can do is build a portfolio using this example, or you can make smaller shifts to get a bigger change in the near future. So what I mean by this is it may not all happen overnight. You may not get that dream job overnight, but what you can begin doing and what you have control of is making small changes to get closer to that goal. So using my example, if you wanted to make a career change or if you wanted to get a higher paying job or a higher position, you would then have to take the steps to apply yourself to align with that goal. Someone who's stuck in a false narrative would probably look at that position and say, I'm not qualified, and never actually take the steps or make the changes within their mindset or within their daily actions in order to obtain that goal. So we want to identify these false narratives and know that they do not define us, but also we want to be able to move past them. And going deeper into taking ownership of our thoughts, beliefs, and habits, we have to understand that past failures and setbacks also do not define who we are. They were simply created to make us stronger, and I can speak from a lot of experience on this one. I used to be the person that would look at my past failures or past situations that where things didn't go as planned or where things went really, really bad. And I used to hold on to those situations and experiences to avoid trying again in the future or to avoid moving forward in the future. This looks like constantly replaying that story in your head of that victim mindset or saying that this happened to me, therefore I can't do this. When in reality, when I look back on my personal situations, I'm like, wow, I'm really happy that that happened, because now that I am in the future and I'm being presented with the same situation or opportunity or experience, I see now how to navigate that versus me completely shutting it out and not being open to the experience. Everything we have in life is an experience. Whether it's good or bad, it doesn't really matter. The whole idea is for us to learn from it and evolve and become better human beings and to evolve our souls into a higher frequency. Mindset shift is so important because it can help you overcome many challenges such as procrastination, such as fear, self-doubt, and any limiting beliefs that you might have, any insecurities that you might have. Shifting your mindset will give you another perspective to look at a lot of these situations and recognize that sometimes we over exaggerate and sometimes things are not as bad as they seem. And so what this mindset shift is doing for us is allowing us to see the world from a different lens. It's removing that lens that we've had for many, many years. Again, it could be from what we've experienced as children, what we saw our parents go through. There's so many reasons why we have this lens that is kind of fogging our mindset. Our true beliefs, our true thoughts, and our true habits are hidden because of this veil. So what we're trying to do here is to remove that so that we can truly achieve and live the life that we know we deserve. So one thing I want to note here is that when you shift your mindset, you'll begin to see some profound changes in your life. All of a sudden, projects become easier. All of a sudden, you are no longer procrastinating. All of a sudden, you become happier because you see the possibilities that life has to offer. And you're able to really hold on to that and become not only a positive person, but also raise your frequency as a result. And by that, you'll begin to attract many, many more things into your life. And all of the serendipitous moments, the manifestation, all of that good stuff becomes so much easier once you shift your mind and come into alignment with what it is that you deserve. So now on to step number 2. The role of self-awareness. We have to understand the importance of self-awareness. Everything that I just said previously could completely fall onto deaf ears if you're not self-aware. If you're not self-aware of how your daily thoughts and your daily habits are creating the life that you have currently, then it will be really hard to make any changes moving forward. So what I mean by this is examine your current thought patterns, your beliefs, and your habits. And some ways that you can begin building this self-awareness is something that I like to talk about all the time, which is one of my favorite methods of being spiritually aligned and working on my own healing, and that's journaling. Journaling is so important because over time you'll be able to see within yourself the changes in mindset shifts. You can start to see how, I started journaling many, many years ago, probably back in like 2014, I started journaling seriously. And I can go back to my journal entries back then and say, wow, I was such a different person in 2014 than I am now in 2024. Like the shift that I made in my mindset because of my journaling and because I was able to go back and see that has been so drastic and so helpful for me in my day-to-day life. I now recognize patterns within myself. I now recognize beliefs that I had that I no longer hold on to because I did the work. But the work couldn't have been done if I didn't know what the issue was to begin with. Through journaling, I'm also able to release. I'm also able to have a conversation with myself, my higher self, and my guides, my angels, whatever it might be. I'm able to have a conversation. If you haven't started journaling, I highly, highly recommend it. You can either write down your journal entries or you can type them. I do a mixture of both, but either way, I have this history log, if you will, of my mindset shifts because I've started journaling. And honestly, it's been one of the best tools that I've implemented in my own life. And so I hope that if anything you take from this video, it's that you start journaling, because this will help you change multiple aspects of your life. Another great way for building self-awareness is through meditation. If you haven't started your meditation practice yet either, I also recommend doing that. You can start very, very small. You can start with just 10 minutes a day of complete silence. I recommend silence. I know a lot of people like to do guided meditations, but the reason why I love silent meditations is because it allows me to hear my own thoughts. And I know a lot of people say you're supposed to be completely silent when you're meditating, even in your mind. But in reality, what people don't realize, and something that I learned after many, many years of meditation, is that sometimes those voices or that noise that you hear when you're in meditation is there to guide you, to give you the answers that you're seeking. Sometimes it may sound very repetitive and it may sound like anxiety ridden, or I need to do X, Y, and Z when I'm done. But over time, when you practice that stillness of your body and stillness of the mind, you'll begin to see a lot of answers and a lot of feelings and a lot of thoughts coming to the forefront that you may have had questions about. And so meditation, for me and for a lot of people that I'm aware of, is best done when there is complete silence, when you're completely alone. You can do it anywhere you can do it in the car, you can do it in the shower, you can do it before you rise in the morning, which is when I do it. Before I do anything, I start my day with a quick meditation, complete silence, and I'm just laying in bed. Try not to fall back asleep, but this I find to be one of the best times to meditate, because it allows you to have a clear mind going into your day. And it allows you to address any remnants of the day before. And lastly, one big tip that I recommend for building self-awareness is just to take some time out of your day to also identify how you're feeling. This could be combined with journaling and meditation. So one thing that I like to do is whenever I feel overwhelmed, or just at any point in the day, I'll literally step away from everything, go into my room, lay down, meditate, and then after my meditation, I like to journal about it. I like to write about what it is that came up during my meditation. And this is a part of reflecting on my thoughts and my feelings throughout the day. And I've just combined all three of those methods into one, where I am journaling, I am meditating, and I'm also reflecting on how I'm feeling. Over time, after doing this exercise, it'll become a daily habit. And that's the goal, is to begin making this a habitual thing, because that is how you begin to make that permanent shift in mindset. But again, self-awareness is so important, because without it, you're not going to recognize that the shift has even occurred. Next, we have step number 3, which is taking action with purpose. Now that you've become self-aware and you've identified the shift that you want to make, you want to start analyzing all of the choices that you're making on a daily basis. I know that can sound overwhelming, but start small. Always start small, because if we dive into the deep end with any of these new things that we're learning, it's really hard for us to stay consistent. And so starting small, you want to take conscious, purposeful actions on a daily basis. And what do I mean by this? I mean, setting daily intentions, prioritizing certain things that help you achieve your goals, and cutting out distractions. So I'll break each one of these down and explain a little bit further. So setting daily intentions, this is something that I've been doing for years as well. And this can look as simple as just creating a daily to-do list with simple things that you want to do every single day. For me, I started with my spiritual practice. So when I first started implementing this, it was always, I want to do 10 minutes of yoga, I want to do 10 minutes of meditation, and I want to do 10 minutes of journaling each and every morning. And then over time, I was able to build onto that list. And now I have a pretty steady routine where no matter where I am or what I'm doing, I know that this is something that I'm going to be completing on a daily basis, because now it has become a habit of mine. So that's the first thing you want to do, is start setting daily intentions. Your intentions do not have to look like my intentions. If your intention is simply to just have a healthy breakfast or to have a healthy meal throughout your day, then start there. If your intention is to go on a walk for 20 minutes a day or twice a week or whatever that intention is, start there. But you want to set those daily intentions to begin building the habits that you're looking for in order to create this mindset shift. Another really great one is to not go on your phone before bed, or to not check your phone first thing in the morning. That is an example of a great intention that you can set that you'll begin to see is working with you in order to create that shift that we're looking for. Prioritizing tasks that align with your goals. So going back to my example in the beginning of the video, getting a new career or entering a new career, if you know that this is something you want to do, you want to make sure that you're doing something on a daily basis that aligns with this goal. If you wake up and all you do is just scroll on Instagram, or all you do is just go out to eat with your friends and go partying and drinking, you haven't prioritized tasks that align with your goal. You want to make sure that after setting your daily intentions, you're also setting and prioritizing tasks that align with your goals. And this can look like, going to a coffee shop and applying to a few jobs per day, or this can look like updating your resume or working on your portfolio until you have something completed that you can share with future employers or with future clients. And lastly, cutting out distractions. This was a huge one for me. I'm not really big on social media to begin with, but my whole thing was that I found myself aimlessly scrolling and constantly looking for something to validate my boredom or to validate procrastination. And this was a huge mindset shift that I've been working on and still am to this day. But one of the things was that when I cut out distractions, taking a break from social media, this looks like for me, I'm a bit extreme. So I deleted the apps off my phone for some time, and it absolutely changed my life. So I recommend cutting out distractions, whether it be social media, whether it be food, whether it be just aimlessly hanging out with friends that don't really contribute to the goals that you're trying to achieve, or anything that's deterring you from making this shift and is feeding into your old thoughts and your old habits. And lastly, step number 4, consistency is key. None of this matters if you're not able to build consistency or to build a routine around making these changes. It's not just about a one-time change. It's about continuously reinforcing these thought patterns until they become second nature. And this is what I mentioned in the beginning of the video. If you really truly want to change something, you have to understand the why, where is it coming from, and you have to be self-aware. And through your daily habits and through your actions, you build that consistency. You build those new habits and those new routines that become part of who you are. So some advice on how you can stay consistent is to set daily reminders. I have personally an alarm that goes off every morning to remind me to meditate and to begin my spiritual practice. Now I don't really even need the alarm, so it's really just there for me to, be prepared to wake up. But honestly, if I turned it off, I wouldn't even need to use it anymore. So that's something that definitely helped me in the beginning, though, is having that reminder. I had multiple reminders on my phone, in my journal, etc. Setting up accountability systems. One thing that I found to be really effective when I was going through this is having someone who was also looking to make a mindset shift. It may not be someone that you know personally. It could be someone, if you are still on social media and if you still want that to be a part of your life, it can be someone from online. It can be a person that you follow, that you admire, who is showing the world that they're doing what exactly that you're doing. There are a ton of YouTube videos out there. And one thing that you can also do in order to set an accountability system is, if you're someone who is a little more logical like myself, you can have certain tools to use. Like I use my Notion board. It's almost like an extension of my day-to-day life, but on there I have all of my goals, and I have all of my daily tasks that I need to do, and I have all of my promises that I've made to myself that have helped me maintain this new mindset. In order to stay consistent, you want to continuously do things that help you maintain this mindset. And what do I mean by this? I mean eating healthy, exercising, going out in nature, doing things that give you energy and give you life, so that you have what it takes to continuously push forward, because this is not something that's easy. If it was easy, everyone would be doing it, but instead a lot of people find themselves on this journey and then they revert back to comfort because their day-to-day life doesn't look like the life of a person or the lifestyle of a person who has decided to make a mindset shift. Making a mindset shift is going to be a bit uncomfortable, but that doesn't have to be the case if you apply some of these changes in your day-to-day life, like eating better, like getting some fresh air, like doing some form of exercise that helps keep the momentum going. And over time, like with everything else, you'll build a habit and this will become the new norm. And lastly, you want to celebrate the small wins. You want to make sure that you are giving yourself the congratulations that you deserve because, like I mentioned, this is not easy. And the only way that we can maintain it is that we recognize within ourselves that these changes are happening. And by recognizing and celebrating, it will allow us to continue pushing forward. I really hope you were able to take some actionable items from this video. I want to remind you that this is a journey and that every small shift in your thinking brings you one step closer to the life you want. And so if you're someone who is out there and you're just wanting to create this life of your dreams, just start small. I promise you, in no time, you'll be able to build upon that and you'll be able to see all of the things that you were able to accomplish when looking back on it. But remember that it is a journey. And if you have any additional thoughts or ideas on how others can begin to make their mindset shift, please feel free to comment those down below. And if you know someone who would love to start this journey with you, please share this video with them as well. Thank you.